You are running late. The meeting starts in 10 minutes, traffic is gridlocked, and the person in front of you just cut into your lane. Your chest tightens. Your jaw clenches. Now ask yourself, what would you give to never feel that grip of helpless anger again? A man named Marcus Aurelius spent his entire life solving exactly that problem, and he did it while commanding the largest army in the Western world, Rome, at 161. Marcus Aurelius inherits an empire of 60 million people, stretching from Scotland to Mesopotamia. He does not want the job. He has spent his 30s reading philosophy, writing in private journals, studying under teachers he calls greater than himself. His mentor Epictetus taught, some things are in our power, some are not. Marcus will spend 20 years trying to understand exactly where that line falls. The first test comes immediately. The Parthian Empire invades in the east. Then Germanic tribes breach the Danube. Then plague. The Antonine Plague kills 5 million Romans over 15 years, including co-emperor Lucius Verus in AD 169. Marcus watches his empire bleed from disease, war, and famine simultaneously. He could rage. Instead, he writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." His private journal, the Meditations, was never meant to be read. It was written in Greek, not Latin, as if to hide it from his own court. It is a man arguing with himself. Page after page, reminders not to be flattered by praise, not to be crushed by criticism, not to fear death. Do not indulge in dreams of what you lack, he writes, but count your blessings and remind yourself how much you would want them if you did not have them. One passage stands out for its strangeness. Marcus writes about waking up reluctant. In the morning when you rise unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being. He was the emperor of Rome, and he still had to argue himself out of bed. This is not weakness. This is the most honest confession in the history of philosophy. The gap between knowing what is right and actually doing it is where all the work happens. The Stoic framework Marcus inherited had one central claim. Suffering comes from mistaking what we cannot control for what we can. Your reputation, not yours. The weather, not yours. Whether your child recovers from fever, not yours. What is yours? How you interpret events, what meaning you assign them, the quality of your attention. Everything else is borrowed. Marcus called external things preferred indifference, things you pursue, but whose loss you accept without collapse. He tested this under conditions most of us will never face. In AD 175, his most trusted general, Avidius Cassius, declared himself emperor after false rumors that Marcus had died. When Marcus learned of the revolt, he did not rage. He wrote that if Cassius believed the empire needed him, perhaps he had a point worth considering. Cassius was killed by his own troops before any confrontation. Marcus mourned that he could not pardon him. AD 180. Then Debona, modern-day Vienna, on the northern frontier. Marcus is 58, thin from years of plague and campaign. He is dying. Around him, the Germanic campaigns continue. He has a choice: recall the legions and return to Rome for a dignified death, or stay on the frontier with his soldiers. He stays. His son Commodus, 17 years old, is nearby. Marcus knows his son is not ready for what comes next. The journals go quiet. He stops writing. His last days were documented with unusual stillness by ancient sources. He refused food. He sent Commodus away from his bedside, telling him to rejoin the army. The philosopher-emperor's final recorded words to his guard were, "Go to the rising sun, for I am already setting." Then he turned to face the wall and died. No dramatic speech. No final revelation. Just a man practicing for 20 years what he had written in private. Here is where the Stoics lose most modern readers. The philosophy offers no comfort about what happens after death. No heaven, no reunion, no cosmic justice. Marcus wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." What he feared, and wrote about constantly, was living without attention, reacting instead of choosing, letting the morning traffic determine the quality of the entire day. The Meditations survived because someone copied it after his death, probably a scribe who found it among his papers. It circulated quietly for centuries, rediscovered during the Renaissance when European rulers were desperate for models of leadership under pressure. Frederick the Great read it on campaign. John Stuart Mill cited it. What draws leaders across 2,000 years to a private journal? The honest admission that ruling yourself is harder than ruling an empire. One practice from meditations is immediately usable. Marcus called it the view from above. When overwhelmed by a crisis, a failure, a relationship breaking apart, he would mentally zoom out, see himself as a point in a city, on a continent, on a spinning rock, in a universe that has survived 10,000 empires. Not to feel meaningless, but to feel proportional. Tomorrow your children will not remember this meeting. In 100 years nobody will. The thing consuming your afternoon has been survived by every human who ever lived. Morning comes either way.